So we gotta be aware of distractions. We gotta be vigilant. We gotta be honestly on guard. Doesn't mean we always have to be on top of everything. Doesn't mean we have to be a perfectionist. I personally suffer from perfectionism, but I also realize that we're not going to be perfect all the time, and we can't be perfect in order for us to have growth, because honestly that would be a boring life if you never grew. And we have to get off course in order to notice that we need to get back on. Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo, and today I wanted to talk about keeping your eyes on the prize, drifting away from whatever you've noticed that you've drifted away from. Like, have you ever ended up in a place, either physically or mentally or spiritually, you just look back at your life and you realize where you're at right now, and you're like, wait, hold up. How did I even get here? I was on a course, I was on a path, I was so committed to that path, and then slowly but surely, I find myself in a dark hole. I find myself in a whirlwind of anxiety. I find myself in cycles that I can't seem to get out of. It's as if you were on a boat and you were the sailor of the boat at first, but then little by little, the wind is like inching you away from your path that you're supposed to be on. As time goes on, you find yourself so far away from where you want it to be that you're lost. And we're gonna like deep dive into this topic today to find out how we can kind of mitigate this and how you can become more aware of when you're drifting. Before we get into it, if you are new here to my channel, hello. Here on Holistic Flow, we are creating a safe space, a space for self-love, self-growth, and maturity, and we're taking a journey towards an overall better mind, body, and spirit connection. So if you're with that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you know whenever I upload a new video. And after you've done that, thank you so much. Let's get right into it. So distractions can come when you least expect it. When you are in a season that you feel that you might feel stagnant, or you might feel like there's not really much happening, sometimes we can get comfortable because we're so used to doing the same thing over and over and over again. If you've been watching me for a while, if you're subscribed to this channel, and you know this channel is about discussing our growth and facilitating our growth mentally, spiritually, physically, in all aspects. So if you are on a journey of growth, you're aware that you're on that journey and you're constantly making choices that can either feed into your growth or that can hinder your growth. And you're probably hyper aware of it at this point. But sometimes we can get to a point where we just like feel stagnant, and it's not for much of a reason at all. It can feel so comfortable because we're like, okay, I'm just cruising along. But it's what comes with the comfortability is the lack of awareness, because we're no longer on our alertness, and you are neither here or there. When you don't have an opinion, when you're not very strong in your beliefs and your core values, that is when distractions can come. It's as if distractions plan to come when you are least expected of them to come. Whenever you've had your guard down, distractions, whether you want to call it opposition, whether you want to call it evil, like the evil forces, evil spirits, or whatever, there is opposition. Whether you want to believe it or not, there's opposition to good, which is evil. Light can't exist without darkness. The sun can't do its thing without the presence of the moon. Like, everything in life has opposition. There was a test experiment done on a frog in a lab, and what they did is the experimenters took a frog and put him in a pot of water. The water was probably a very, very comfortable temperature, and the frog was like, oh, this is so comfortable. The pot was sitting on a heater. So what the experimenters did was they rose the temperature up just a hair. The frog didn't feel anything. The temperature on the water is literally, they're rising the temperature up just a hair though. Little by little, over like periods of hours, they start to inch the water up in heat, little by little. And because it's happening so slowly, the frog doesn't really notice much that the water is getting so hot. As the experimenters are turning up the heat little by little by little, and I mean so little, that you can barely notice. All of a sudden the frog notices, my body is kind of feeling a little weird. And then soon after, the frog is dead. The frog has been cooked alive and he didn't even realize it. Being comfortable, being lackadaisical, being indifferent, those are traits that we actually want to avoid. Even though it seems like it's cool, it's actually kind of dangerous. You know how they say stand for something or you'll fall for anything? Yeah, it's kind of like that. If you are not firm in going after something, if you're not firm in whatever you believe in, if you're not firm in your discipline, if you are in a boat and you think you are the sailor, then you are susceptible to the wind carrying you every which way you go. And the more lackadaisical we are, the more indifferent that we are about the wind carrying us wherever we are, then we'll find ourselves eventually lost somewhere. And we want to notice it before it's too late. So because of this, it's good to have little reminders to stop looking away from your lane. I like to call it stop rubbernecking. So rubbernecking is when you're driving in your car and something's happening on the side of the road, where there's like roadkill or somebody getting pulled over, and you're like, oh, it's happening over there. But you know what happens when you're driving literally on a road and you stop to look at something that you're going past? What happens is you actually slowly start to turn your wheel towards whatever you're looking at on the side of the road, so that you kind of have to swerve back in your own lane. See, a lot of us are doing that very, very slowly, and we need to stop rubbernecking, looking at other people's lanes. A huge distraction these days, and we all know it, is social media. And one question we have to ask ourselves is, why do we continue to participate in things that we know is harmful for us? Like, is it the lack of self-respect we have? Is it the lack of self-love? Is it the lack of patience in getting to our goal? What is it lacking? Because it's lacking something, and whatever it's lacking, it's making us just totally miss our own lane and drift into other people's lane. There's also this analogy that, like, in your own lane is no traffic there. Like, you're on a path that nobody else can walk for you. If somebody else tried to do what you were assigned to do, they would fail because it's only your assignment. So it's the same for everybody else's thing that you try to do. Whatever you're doing, nobody else can do it as best as you do because the assignment is for you. So there's no traffic in your lane. Why would you want to swerve in another lane where there is traffic? We literally hinder our own growth by swerving in other people's lanes, by rubbernecking, looking on the side of the road, but we got to keep our eyes on the prize. Okay, stop right there. Do you know that you lack discipline in your mental or spiritual journey? Do you want to live life with less stress and more focus, and an overall clearer goal for yourself towards your vision for the future? If so, the Holistic Fit Meditation membership would be great for you. As a Holistic Fit Meditation member, we practice 3 times a week together, live on Zoom or on demand on your own time. We'll practice breath work techniques to get your mind into the flow state for increased concentration. We'll practice mind and body awareness, bringing awareness to this present moment to eliminate symptoms of depression and anxiety, and also practice discipline, adhering to our framework for transformation so that you can do the self-work on your own without guidance, so that you can build up that mental discipline for yourself. See, I help beginner meditation practitioners deepen their practice so that they can develop a life with less stress, more clarity, more joy, and an overall more holistically fit lifestyle. I'm not teaching meditation. I'm helping create transformation in your life, and that's what I want to do. So if you want to become a Holistic Fit Meditation member, go to my website, holisticfitmeditation.com, and click on memberships, or go to the description box and click on the link that says become a Holistic Fit Meditation member. And I hope to see you practicing soon. Here's a good quote. I don't know who said this quote, but the quote is, "It's never too late to start, but it's always too late to delay." So if you've noticed that you've been off course for a while, it's never too late to notice that you've drifted away and then get back on course. But the thing is, if you notice that you're off course and then you say, oh, it's okay, I always have tomorrow, you don't know that. Your next sip of air is not even promised. Nobody knows that tomorrow they'll get back on track. And honestly, the more that we get in the habit of delaying our growth, delaying our progress, the more that we sit in that comfortability. So we're perpetuating our own cycle by sitting in the same comfortability that got us off course in the first place. It's never too late to start getting back on track or to start a new track, but it's always too late to be comfortable. And I'm not saying that you have to be, or that we, me included, that we always have to be on top of every single thing, because we don't want to burn ourselves out, right? But I'll say this, life isn't about always being on track every single day of the year. The truth is that we won't always be on track, and it's actually an advantage that we won't. The goal of life isn't to always be on top of things, but it's that when we notice that we're not on top of things, we redirect to our focus, to our lane. So you will drift. And the answer to the question of like, how do you stop drifting? How do you prevent yourself from drifting? Even if we're doing all the right things, even if we're taking all the right steps, even if we're doing everything we can to raise our awareness and not sit in comfortability, we will experience drifting away from something, because that's honestly a large, major part of spiritual growth, emotional growth, physical growth, any type of growth that you can think of. You can't notice that you need to get up unless you've fallen. You can't realize that you have to get back on course if you've never gotten off course. Notice that our goal is off the path. It's okay, because that will happen, and it has to happen in order for us to grow. But whenever we notice it, are we making that choice to manually put ourselves back on track, redirect, or are we delaying it? Are we saying, oh, I noticed that I'm off course, but I'm okay with it because I can do it tomorrow? Or it's not that bad. It's only a little bit of turbulence. It's only a little bit of wind, right? That's literally what we tell ourselves. And when we sit in that comfortability, opposition is just waiting to catch us slipping, to throw us even further off course. So we gotta be aware of distractions. We gotta be vigilant. We gotta be honestly on guard. Doesn't mean we always have to be on top of everything. Doesn't mean we have to be a perfectionist. I personally suffer from perfectionism, but I also realize that we're not going to be perfect all the time, and we can't be perfect in order for us to have growth, because honestly, that would be a boring life if you never grew. And we have to get off course in order to notice that we need to get back on. And it's kind of like meditating. This is why I meditate every day. Let's actually do a meditation together. I teach this meditation all the time. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Notice your breath. It's always there. We're just bringing awareness to what is already there. Is your breath fast? Is it slow? Notice your breath coming in through the nostrils and going out through the nostrils. Now, if you're having thoughts, bring your awareness back to the breath. In through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. All right, you can relax your concentration and open your eyes. All right, most likely when we were meditating, you probably experienced your mind wandering off onto other thoughts, right? That's because the mind has thoughts. The mind thinks. And that's honestly its job. A lot of people think that they are meditating incorrectly because they're having thoughts. Not true. Biggest misconception, biggest lie of meditation ever told. The mind will have thoughts whether you're a master meditator or not. The purpose isn't to focus the whole time during meditation. The purpose is when you notice that your focus has drifted, you redirect. You bring the awareness back. That's just like our life. The point of life isn't to be focused, be on everything all the time. That would be so draining. The purpose is that when you notice that you're off your path, you bring your awareness back. You come back in your lane every single time. And that is all we're assigned to do. Bring our awareness back. Come back. We're not here to be perfect. We're not here to be angels. We're not we're not here to do good all the time. So that can even relate to how, you know, some of us feel so shameful, so guilty for the things that we've done, whether we see them as negative things or that we've betrayed other people or even betrayed ourselves. And that's something that often keeps people on this path of negativity or of being comfortable in whatever they're comfortable in. But just know that we're not supposed to be perfect all the time. We're not supposed to be on it all the time. We're just supposed to notice when we've drifted, raising our awareness, and then bring it back. That's literally it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Remember, be on guard, be vigilant. Opposition is out here just waiting for us to slip up, honestly. So be on your guard, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you like this one, give it a thumbs up. I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.